I'm joined on the line by South African cartoonist Jerm, and he's going to speak to us about the horrific Paris attacks that killed 12. Jerm, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Now, you drew a beautiful and really heartbreaking comic today. Won't you talk to us about it?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I decided just to keep it very simple and just kind of express my feelings. I didn't want to do anything funny necessarily. I just thought I'd um, show something more emotional because something like that massacre is incredibly emotional and something that I don't want to joke about right now.
Now, obviously, this was a direct attack on your direct colleagues, really. These are people who do what you do every day for a living. What was your reaction when you heard the news?
Well, I think my first reaction was one of shock. And definitely one of confusion. I mean, reading the story as it's unfolding and thinking, hold on, what's going on here? No, what's actually happening here? Um, and then as I started thinking about it, I started getting a bit worried about the consequences or the repercussions. For example, these acts of violence are not representative of Islam um, as a whole, and this is clearly evident by the numerous number of Islamic organizations and councils that are condemning the violence. But the problem is, though, that this disturbing murder or series of murders will no doubt increase hatred towards Muslim people, and that's as I said, that's a concern for me. And another concern that I have is the chilling effect that this will invariably have on cartoonists and other satirists around the world.
Now, protests are being held around France especially, but also around the world, specifically in New York, about freedom of expression and the importance of cartoonists just being really left to do their job. What does this mean to you?
Well, freedom of expression is critical in a public space. It's like a thermometer. It gauges the liberation of its surrounding society, and so when an attack like this occurs, it certainly damages and handicaps that liberation for which people have fought for centuries. It's definitely something that one would expect authorities such as the governments to protect the freedom to express and the freedom to offend. And the, we must also understand that the freedom to express will no doubt offend, but um, people can respond by offending back. But that does not mean physical and harmful violent acts.
Now, when it comes to your particular line of work, have you ever grappled with a topic or a situation and thought, no, drawing that would just be one step too far? How do you make those judgment calls in your day-to-day drawing?
Yeah, well, that's a question that will stand the test of time. Personally, I don't really know what the line is because it's kind of like a moving target. It changes from person to person, and so I suppose my line is dependent on the editor and what he or she is willing to publish, and I suppose pay for. Uh, I probably have no line, um, and in my personal space, I would probably draw anything I want to. But again, that's it's as I said, it's quite dependent on the editor mostly.
Jim, thanks so much for speaking to us today.
Thank you so much for having me.